Who gets a black car? That's right, you're looking at him. I had to get this black Porsche Macan because, let's admit it, when a car's black, nice and shiny, there's nothing that's better looking out there in terms of color. But black is also a giant pain to maintain. It's so hard to keep it looking good. If it's dusty at all or any kind of imperfection on the paint, it really sticks out. So when I got this car, I had to do the research to see how do I keep a car like this looking good without making it a giant pain on myself and really regretting purchasing a black car every day. This is not just black on the outside, it's also got a black interior. I know, don't ask me what I was thinking. So there's a few things that I had to do to not only make sure that the black car looks as good as it does, but it also doesn't get crazy insanely hot because I'm in Texas with 100-degree weather. Black on black is not a good combination. So there's a couple things that I did to the car. So in this video, I'll talk about three things. Number one, what I did to the car to make it less painful on myself to maintain this nice shine. Number two, what I did to keep this car from burning me every time I get inside. And number three, how much it cost me and how do I feel about spending that money to do the things that I did to this car. When I first got this car, there were a lot of swirls and scratches on the paint. You could tell that the previous owner took it to a lot of automatic car washes with the brushes, and the paint actually was in bad condition. So I took it to a local shop to see what I could do. So I got stage one paint correction done, which really just means they went over it with some special compounds and their polishing machines. And the end result I'm really happy with. It's not perfect. There's still some scratches on here, but it looks so much better than when it first did. Most of the scratches are gone, and I'm overall happy with how it turned out. But then after I got this fixed, the last thing I wanted to do was get a bunch of scratches all over the paint again. And I didn't want to wash and wax like I've typically done with my other cars. With black, there's streaks everywhere. It's so hard to get the streaks out if you just do a normal wash and wax. So went back to the computer, Googled what I could do to keep it clean. And this thing called ceramic coating came up. So I looked into it, and ceramic coating ultimately is a chemical layer that you put on the paint to protect it and give it that nice shine. And the nice thing about ceramic coating is once it's on there, it can stay there for a while. And it's so much easier to clean the car and keep it clean like you see here. This car was washed about a couple of weeks ago, and I guarantee you it would not have looked like this if I had washed and waxed it without the ceramic coating on it. So you can see how much better it looks with the ceramic coat. No streaks, no imperfections. You have to use a special wash solution that doesn't eat away at the ceramic coat to keep it protected. But if you do that, this is the end result. I'm really, really pleased with how it turned out because washing this is so much easier than it would have been without a ceramic coat. Most importantly, when you put water on it, it beads off. Let me show you. So with the water beating off like that, whenever it rains, this car doesn't get that dirty anymore. To be honest, I wasn't expecting it to work this good. So I'm really pleased with the outcome here. But one thing to keep in mind is that ceramic coats are not permanent. What I got here was a 3-year ceramic coat, which means over time it'll degrade. But just the fact that I don't have to wash and wax the car every single time is just a relief. And having the ceramic coat is the easiest way you can maintain and make a car like this look good. It's ideal for black, but it could really work for any paint. I'm sold on the ceramic coat knowing how good of a product it is. So normally I would just get normal tint on a car, something that's cost effective. But in this case, I searched for a good window tint that would reject a lot of the heat. This is Expel ceramic window tint, and they claim to reject 98% of the heat that's coming in. And that's actually true because now with this tint, when I get in the car, it doesn't burn me right away, and it's actually tolerable, believe it or not. Don't get me wrong, it's still very, very hot, but it doesn't burn you the minute you get inside the car. And there's another benefit to having this tint because as you can see, it adds to the look of the car, especially being black with the black window tint. I think it makes a good looking car even better looking with this tint. So the bad news is all of this does come at a cost. The tint cost me about $700, the paint correction right around $500, and then the ceramic coating another $1,000. So for a grand total of $2,200, I got all of this. And now you might be asking the question, was all of it worth it? And look, I get it. $2,200 is a lot of money, and you could spend it on a lot more things that are more valuable than what I spent it on. But here's why it's worth it for me. The tint is actually working as advertised. When I'm driving around the car every day, and this is a daily driver, it doesn't get as hot inside when the sun's beating down. The temperature stays reasonably cool inside the car, and the air conditioning doesn't have to work as hard. And when the car is sitting outside, it doesn't get quite as hot. So for me, it's working perfectly well, and I'm really glad I paid the extra money for it. And sometimes it's better to pay the money for things that are worth it, that provide that value. And in this case, the tint is actually living up to his expectations, so I'm really happy that I got this. Now, when it comes to paint correction and ceramic coating, I think it's worth the money because as good as black cars look when they're clean, when they're dirty, it's one of the worst colors to have, much worse than something like white or gray or silver. And black cars do get dirty a lot. And I've tried to wash and wax black cars and try to get rid of those streaks. It's just an insane amount of work. And professionals, I'm sure, can do a better job, but look, I'm lazy. I just want things to be easy and put in the minimal amount of effort. And this ceramic coating gives me exactly that. It's so easy to wash it, to wipe it down, very quick. Whether I do it or a professional does it, it's super simple. And without a lot of effort, you get a car that just looks nice and shiny almost all of the time. And then there's a resale value. Having a car that looks clean and shiny and maintained, it adds to the value, and you can charge a premium for a car that has that wow factor, especially if it's black. And for all those reasons, I think it is worth it to pay that much money for this. And now I'm not intimidated by trying to get a black car anymore, because after this whole experience, after what I've learned, when I sell this and get the next car, guess what color it'll be? Yep, black.